Scott Bedke is Speaker of Idaho's House of Representatives. He's joining us for a few more minutes this morning on News Radio 1310 KLIX and News Radio 1310.com. It's 28, 721. Bill Colley with you, too. I'm here until 10 o'clock this morning. And just a quick note, a couple of former legislators will be joining us just after the news at 8 o'clock this morning. We'll be joined by Lee Barron and Steve Miller. We wanted to mention that the last time the Speaker was with us, we were talking about some water issues, especially that proposal to remove the four dams on the lower Snake River. And it was not a situation that he was happy about. And I'm guessing that there's still a lot of discussion going on about this, Mr. Speaker.
Well, there is, Bill, and quite a bit of concern about, there's just a lot of unanswered questions. And I think the thing that concerns me the most is the use of Idaho's water. We're in an unsteady relationship with the federal courts, and of course they have, under the Endangered Species Act, we operate the river system under a biological opinion that has to be approved by the court, and that has served us pretty well through the years. But under that biological opinion, Idaho sends out on a good water year about 427,000 acre feet of water to meet the minimums or to meet the standards that have been set at the Lower Granite Dam. So the Lower Granite Dam is one of the dams that is being proposed, to be breached. And, so if that dam is not there, and then this whole thing needs to be rethought. And in that rethinking, Idaho's water needs to stay up in Idaho. We don't need to be sending it down the river. Now that is created every time we do send that water down. I mean, that comes from irrigators, and of course they have been compensated for that money, and they've used that money to pay their maintenance and operational expenses at their various water districts and canal companies. So that is, that's a concern, but at the same time, we're looking for additional water to put in the ground for managed recharge. We need to keep as much of that water up in Idaho as we possibly can to benefit our economy and agriculture is still the backbone of Idaho's economy, and it needs care and feeding and forward planning. And, so if they're going to be, that's just one area of this whole dam breaching idea. And to put we all would love to see, salmon populations restored and et cetera. But I don't know that everybody agrees that should be at any expense. And we have a very efficient system for moving grain to the coast now. And it's the cheapest, it's the cleanest, it's the most environmentally safe way to move those huge amounts, those huge number of tons to the markets on the Pacific Rim. And, just to put that all at risk seems, like we talked about last time, seems folly to me. At the same time, you're removing power generation capacity. And the projection is to replace that capacity with technology that is not commercially ready at this point. I mean, small modular nuclear reactors are a good idea, but I'm nearly positive that they won't be siting those in Oregon or Washington. That'll be up here, and that's not that we wouldn't take them, and the INL is at the forefront nationally of that technology and will remain so. But there's just a lot of unanswered questions, and the answer up to this point is just to throw more money at the idea. I guess if there is one good thing about this whole issue is that they have finally put a price tag on just what the impacts would be, but it's because many of the previous federal judges, in a very cavalier way, figured we can just take the dams out and everybody get along as best they can, and that's impractical as well. So, but not every problem is solved with money, and the the custom, the culture, the way of life that we have built around in the Northwest, the river system, that is all at risk and will be changed. And so there needs to be thoughtful conversations with the Idaho stakeholders as we go forward. It's not saying the way we're doing it is perfect and couldn't be improved upon, but I'm very reluctant to just follow this idea. I'm color me reluctant, Bill, and that's probably putting it mildly.
We're speaking this morning with Scott Bedke, who is Speaker of Idaho's House of Representatives. Got a couple of minutes to go. Is it possible that Representative Simpson may have just been floating a trial balloon?
Well, I think it's possible. Anything is possible. I mean, this is an issue that has plagued Idaho for a lot of years, and we're sending a lot of Idaho water down the country with marginal results back here. And so, we started talking about were we getting our money's worth for the 427,000 acre feet that we ship out? We started that conversation 3 years ago, and many think that water could go to a better use in Idaho and not go down the river to augment, to fish flush and that type of thing. So, but if we're really serious about restoring salmon and ocean-going fish runs, that we would get on top of the predator problem. We have harbor seals in the estuaries and in the tributaries and places that historically they've never been. If we're going to let those populations grow unchecked, if we're going to not have controls out in the ocean, then we're really not serious about the salmon issue, in my opinion. And it's interesting to compare the Columbia system or the Snake system to other systems north of us in Canada that also have salmon runs and that have zero dams on them. Their fish numbers have dropped and parallel the fish numbers in the Columbia Snake system. The oceanic conditions are the problem here. It's not what we do upstream wholly, and so when the things are restored in the Fraser system, which is the big system north of the Columbia that has no dams, then we'll see improvement here in the Columbia Snake system. But to use Idaho as a scapegoat for oceanic conditions is completely unfair as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I want to thank you again for the time this morning, and as we wrap up session in a few weeks, we might be able to sit down and talk a little bit longer and get a review.
All right, that sounds good, Bill.
Hey, take care, sir.
Thank you. See ya.
You too. Speaker of the House, Scott Bedke, joining us this morning from Boise. And as he pointed out, we're only 2 to 3 weeks away from the end of session. And we'll have more to talk about with him coming up, I'm sure, in about a month. 7:30, we've got a break for news. It is, temperature's not really going anywhere much. It's 29 right now on News Radio 1310 KLIX and News Radio 1310.com. Also, we have a couple of former legislators who will be joining us just after the news at 8 o'clock this morning. Steve Miller and Lee Barron on the way.